Everybody doing well? Awesome. I am doing fantastic myself. So as y'all know, my name is Daryl Martin. I'm with ApexInvesting.com. And this is another edition of Be the Sniper or Be the Target. Your choice, make it today. We got our fun little disclaimers. Make sure you know what you're doing before you do it. There's trading risk when you trade. All right, so I thought today we would do some chart walkthrough. And we'd also go through any questions you might have on automation. How does that sound? You like that? And then next week, I'm thinking about teaching y'all going into specifics on the elevator trade for you on Tuesday. So do y'all like that for a topic for Tuesday? And we're trying to figure out how we want to set up automation because there's so many trades that we can automate. Don't want to overwhelm you, but I'm thinking about actually setting it up where we have either two charts or we have multiple listings and you can just choose which pieces you want to do. Okay? So I was trying to figure out the easiest way to pass it off to you there. So with that, let me go ahead and pull up a chart. And we'll get started. And we'll get started looking at this morning. Alright, so we got the morning chart up. Now we usually don't trade during 9:25 to 9:35. I mean, if you were, there's a short there and all that, but let's skip to our 9:35 zone. That's where we usually start our trades, right? And what I do on these, I sort of like to get y'all's take on the trade, if we would take it or not take it, and then see how it would work out. Okay? So that way you're sort of learning as we're going through, and it's not just me walking through it, but me walking through it with you. That sound like a plan? All right, so moving forward step by step. Now, one thing I want to remind y'all of is I'm always looking to see if I got a short, if I got a long, would I take the trade? Okay? So, right now I'd be looking, obviously, if I got a short, when I take straight off a wall, yeah, there's no obstructions in the way, it could be a good trade. Right? So you're always looking for those basic questions. Don't wait until an alert pops up to start looking at whether or not you should take the trade. Right? You want to be looking always. Like, would I take a trade if there's a trade that's going to come up? Because otherwise, markets are always going to feel too fast. And the only way that the markets are going to start slowing down for you is when you start thinking ahead. Couple steps ahead. So you're just always looking at it like, would I take a star low vol, like would I take a number 4 short if I got a number 4 short right here? Would you? We have a star 5 with a ZOI. Right there. We got a star 5 with a ZOI. Would you take the short? If we got a reversal bar on the next bar. Why would you take the short? Because you're coming right off of a wall. Right there. And also it'd be coming off of the dynamic magnet as well. Okay, so you're coming off of a major level. Remember, we got flux levels, dynamic magnets, walls, deviations, and stacks. Those are your 5 main things that you're looking at, right? So we get a reversal. And the detector goes off, the alert goes off. Yes, I already know I'm going to take it, so I'm okay with leaving it on. So I'd have over here, I'd have my semi checked. Okay. And then let me just check like something like that. And so I'd be okay with having the short on. And I just sort of, what I do is if I'm not okay with it, I uncheck it. And this is one thing I found out with a lot of traders using the automation is They're trying to get over there and check it fast enough. So I used to check them as we went, but we built in the filters for the TX trade now. Okay? So now that we have the filters for the TX trade, I just leave them on. You know, on semi-auto and rearm them after, you know, a trade is hit. And then if I need to turn the filter off, I just turn the filter off like if we have divergence. Or if I need to go, oh, you know what, I don't want to take the short, then I uncheck the short because we're not coming off of a wall. And to me, it's faster to go and uncheck them than it is to try to check them. That's almost like trying to get in the trade, which is almost defeating the purpose. Does that make sense? Does that make it a little easier? Have some of y'all missed some trades trying to get to the button fast enough to hit it? Do you think it'd be easier to uncheck them when you shouldn't take a trade? So now that we have the filters and, you know, more advanced stuff built in, so that ought to help you out some, right? By leaving them checked. And then all you got to do is like, okay, I don't want it short, right? So now and that's really, think about it, that's what the whole point of automation with analysis is, right? If it was just automation, you just leave everything on all the time on auto. But with analysis, what does that mean? When not to take a trade. That's the whole point of automation with analysis, is the automation, but you're there to tell it when not to. So leave it on, and then your analysis part is when not to. Well, there we go. So number 4, coming on down, hits that wall to the tick. That could have been an easy target, by the way, off of a number 4 if you wanted to go for more. Okay. And let's see. Let's find our next setup. Now, we also had a double cluster, or a triple cluster there, but I usually don't like triple clusters when there's multiple ones in a row. Might have been tempted on that one coming off a wall, but beyond that, I usually don't like multiple, not clusters, sorry, triple dippers right here. When there's multiple in a row. I usually like to be 1 or 2, but I like them in range-bound markets, which is sort of what we're in with this movement right here. It's coming off of a wall, so you can see how that would be a tempting trade to take. Because it's bouncing right off that wall and off too many magnets. But I can understand why you wouldn't take it, because I usually tell you don't take them if there's multiple triple dippers in a row. Those are the ones that are going to get you. And don't do them on ES. This is an NQ trade only. Alright, we got a star 6, but we don't have a little volume score on there. Alright, star 7, but nothing setting up telling us to go for it. Now notice, we're only a minute into our trading day. Okay? So, now we got a star 10 right here with the ZOI. Do we take it? It's going to be underneath the wall. Not really off the wall. And it's going right into a wall. So it's not, there's a wall there, but it's not coming off the wall, and it's going right into a wall. Do you see that? How do you like your odds of going right, not coming off a wall and going right into another wall? How do you like your odds on that trade? Okay, but do you see how I saw that before we look at the reversal bar, before we look at what happens, I'm just looking in advance, and this is what I really am trying to challenge y'all to do, is look in advance and look for when... look in advance for what a reason not to take a trade. Even if it had ODD, you're not coming off of a wall. It's a setup for, right? You're going right into another wall. How many times have y'all got hit in these little areas going into like where the walls are stacked together? Okay, so if you're looking ahead instead of going, oh, I got a trade. I finally got a trade. I mean, really, it's only been a minute since we had one, but that was profitable. So let's look at it. Let's see what happens. And it loses. So not coming off of a wall and going right into a wall. Okay? Are we glad we didn't take it? Like, is that a little bit enlightening to you? Like, I'm trying to help y'all really look ahead. And the more you look ahead, the less stressed out you're going to be, the less you're going to take. Your job is to find out when not to take trades. And by the way, here's a side note. Inside the Facebook group, I teach you how to do these trades that are called, I call them power scalps. And this is looking at the DOM when you have a very large level. So like we have 256 contracts, and I'm going a little side note here because this is live. And what I do is I set a 3-tick take profit, a 3-tick stop loss. I set it 2 ticks in front of the large level. So if it comes down and it hits this, pops up 3 ticks, and I take profit. It has to break through all of these orders for me to lose. And if I lose 3 ticks, no big deal. But it's a trade that we do a lot. You'll see a lot of postings on it in the Facebook group. We'll talk about it. We also have one way above the market right now, too. That has like 300 orders going on at the moment. So like way up here. This one has 351 orders. I got one just sitting there. And it's just a very, very simple trade. But if you haven't watched that video in the Facebook group, it's only a 15 to 20 minute video. I show live trades. And, you know, we usually rock it on those. And I mean, sometimes there won't be any. But like a lot of times these happen at night or pre-market. And you just got to look for those really large levels. And ideally 10 times the amount, but at least 5 times the amount of the average DOM size is what a large level is. Okay? So this right here is like where there's a 2840. It's a really large level, so we have a buy at 2840.50 because what we expect to happen is it to come down and bounce up a little off this to work its way before it can actually get enough volume to bust down and bust through this area. So as you can see, it has a buy, 10 contracts right there is what I'm doing. I sell it 10 ticks higher, sell it back 10 ticks lower for a stop. And it's just a 1-to-1 simple trade. Okay? It's also sitting at happens to be at a dynamic magnet level right now. The ZOI. So if you want to see this. So it's sitting right there. At that dynamic magnet is where we're sitting at for these large amounts. So for it to bounce right off that for a few ticks, yeah, there's probably a really high probability when you put together the sniper chart and the volume level on the DOM. Okay? But you also definitely go to our Apex Investing Facebook group. It's the top video, or it's the video if you click ATM on the right, under announcements, and I show you exactly how to do it. But it's just an easy little trade that I just sit there, and I have one above and one below the market right now just hanging out. But I thought I'd show you all that in case it triggers. If it does, I'll bring it back over, okay? All right, so let's keep going here. We're only like 2 minutes into the day. Let's see here. All right, nothing so far. Have y'all liked the new detectors, the new alerts? Has that made it a lot easier to keep up with the different ones? Alright, so we got a long there. Do we take that long? Pretty simple, no. It's going against the DR. There's no divergence. No trade. Good job. See here. Now we got a long here. Can we take this trade? Yes. Because we got OD divergence, right? And you got DR divergence. And you're coming off of a wall. And if you're wondering what divergence is, if you're new, see how we're making a lower low? So we're moving further, but on less volume. 1461 versus 219. So we're moving further down, lower low on less volume. And the DR indicator, you got a big hill and then a little hill is about the easiest way I can describe it. So, or the opposite way is if you're making higher highs on less volume. Okay. And trade is profitable. And you could go on to, well, somebody said take profit at the magnet level. That could be a target right there. Very good. Now, you had to wait a while, right? I mean, that was like 10 minutes, which can feel excruciating. But it only took like 7 seconds or so there to take our profit on that trade. All right? So you waited 10 minutes, since the last trade for 7 seconds. Actually, yeah, about 10 minutes since the last trade. So there's a lot of patience involved. And sometimes the market's moving too fast and you can't move your take profit. But to me, that's okay. The worst case scenario is I took my profit faster than I wanted to and I wasn't able to take more. I'm okay with that. Somebody asked, which bar is the bar on number 4s that you base it off of? You base it off of the reversal bar. So, by the way, and we're going over today. So this is literally just today. And the markets were moving pretty fast today. All right, we got a green buy over here. Can we take that trade? Move my mouse. There we go. So not a wall there. You got OD. You got some pretty nice OD. You got 25% OD. I would take it. Now, where do you think I might set my take profit? As soon as I got filled, I'd set it right before that magnet, which is where it was going to go to anyway. But see, we had room to take profit. right into that dynamic magnet. We didn't have to go through it or anything. And we get full take profit. Okay? So we're already at 3 and done, by the way. So, right? At this point, you should have stopped trading. Which means you should have been trading for about 12 minutes this morning and been done. Okay? That 3 and done is a 6-figure income formula. So many of y'all want to make a whole bunch of money so fast that it's taking you forever to make anything. There's an arrow there. It's just hard to see it. So we got a triple dipper here. So that would, this bar would have to be a reversal for that to happen. Oh, our little power scalp trade just got filled. Oh, and profit was taken. You can see because I made $375. Not bad for hosting a webinar and making $375 on the side. So if I want to put another one on, I can just throw another one on there. So it got filled, it took profit, up $375. Is that nice? Is that cool? Just little power scalps on the side, just some easy money. I think they're pretty easy. I mean, I just put them on the side. I didn't even know it got filled. Somebody on the side's like, hey, yeah, your power scalp got filled. So, if anybody did that, they just made some cash. Then you made $187.50. I guess you're doing 5 contracts. So, all right, so let's keep going. But yeah, just some side cash right there. Can't complain. You don't see that on too many webinars, do you? A little side trade while we have another topic. All right, here. Let's see. Y'all liking Apex? Y'all liking trading? Y'all having fun? You hating it, Rich? Yep, if you want to get that Lilu funding, I mean, just go for your 3 a day and do what I'm doing right here. Because it becomes a lot more fun when you're making money, right? So just go in and, I mean, this is how I'm looking at my morning. I'm looking at it on the right, and I'm like, okay, you know, would I take a trade? Would I take a trade? You know, and I mean, that's it. It's like, okay, if I got a short right here, would I take it? Well, no, it's a coil shop. Well, I can take coils on NQ technically if I want to. Did y'all know that? You have to manually put them in. But you can do them. So that would have been another winning trade right there. Going down. Alright, we get a red arrow. DR is not matching up. Do we take the trade? Nope. Coil does not mean as much on NQ because it moves further. And aren't you glad you didn't take that trade? All that gave us a hint was that little bitty green DR to not take it. And if you had the filter on, it would do that. Somebody was asking about filters. We don't use the filters at all for the number 4 and the double TX. The only time you're going to use the filter is if you have an OD trade, an OD divergent trade, like this one back here. Let me back up and sort of act like what I would have done when it came up. Okay, so this comes up. I see we have OD divergence. You'll know that on this bar right here. I can go ahead and just uncheck the filter. And now if I get an OD divergent trade, it'll take the trade for me. Now once it takes it, I just turn it back on. Okay? So that's how you'd actually use doing that. Let's see. Oh, I think I fast forwarded a little bit. Where was I at? So the question that I just got was, so you just looked at the green on the DR before? Yep, because the green on the, if you're going with the trend, the DR has to match on both. No filter is used on number 4 or double TX. So again, no filter is used on the number 4 or double TX trade. The only time I'd turn the filter off on this one is if I was doing a divergent trade on TXs. Sort of lost my place a little bit there, so I don't know if I skipped ahead or not, but oh, there was a short right there. What do y'all think about that? So at best, it's a range-bound trade going right into the wall. So if you were going to take profit, you better take it like a tick before the wall. But it's not an OD divergent trade. It's not with DR. You have a very, very slight DR divergence, but no OD divergence. So not your strongest trade. It would have worked, but I would have been hesitant on it myself. It wasn't like a big range where you had a lot of room. I mean, you're going right into that thing. Nope, no hotkeys. Just leave them on, and your hotkey is your finger. Markets were moving today. I was up like $9 grand in the first 30 minutes of trading today. See, I think I have it. I guess 10:45. So maybe first hour trading. So yeah, up 9,000. So not a bad day. Let's see here. We had a ton of people getting 3-0. I'm not sure what question you're asking, Skype or Chuck. See, it's looking for the next trade. We just chop. By the way, this would be a good time to bring this up. If we got a double TX right here, would you want to take the trade? Why not? You got the 2 to 3 bar chop going on, right? 2 3 bars, 2 3 bars, 2 3 bars, right? So that's something you're looking at. So if I knew that, then if it said number 4 setup, I'd be like, or double TX setup, I'd be like, no. Turn it off, right? So just something to, you're always thinking about that. Like, okay, hey, I'm looking for that 2 to 3 bars. I'm actually looking for that instead of trying to look for the double TX. To go, hey, I wouldn't take it if one came up. All right, we got a short right here. Do we take this short? No, we don't have a good reason to take it. Doesn't matter if it'll remember. Doesn't matter if it'll work or won't work. We're going for the high probability, not the possibilities, right? I mean, we got ZOI in front of us. We got dynamic magnet. We got flux pivot. But we also just don't have a reason. Our rules tell us don't take the trade. Okay? And the rules are about increasing our probabilities. And that trade flew. Is that okay? We're just looking for the probabilities. So we're not looking to try to get every oscillation. You start doing that, and all of a sudden you'll just start picking wrong back to back to back, and it's just a bad downward no. What about here? Do we take this short? Same thing, right? And that time it worked out for us, we would have got stopped out. So the last one may have worked, this one didn't work. Well, it's 50-50. We don't want 50-50. Do we take this long? Going right into a wall and a flux and a dynamic magnet against DR, no OD. No, if we have the filter on, we'll take it. No. Trying to get over here where there's a trade. Oh. All right, right there, we got a star with low volume score number 4 setup. Do we take that? Is it coming off of a dynamic magnet, a flux level, a deviation level, a stack, or a wall? Doesn't matter if it's coming off of a ZOI. A dynamic magnet, not a magnet, a dynamic magnet. Which on my chart are those little orange blocks. If anything, it's actually going into a dynamic magnet. Settlement is a deviation level. Okay, so it's not off of a dynamic magnet. It's not off of a flux level. It's not off a wall. It's not off a stack. It's not off a deviation. So, no, don't take it. That one would have worked out after it gave you a heart attack, but it's okay. We're looking for the best setups. Take a short. Get a little rangy here. No, we don't take it. And you got to just be okay with that. You just got to sit back and be patient. Look for the good setups. Because where a lot of y'all get in trouble is y'all just get, flustered. And then you take bad setups. And then all of a sudden, you're working really hard to make it back. That was a coil chops, obviously. That's some hardcore coil chop, isn't it? Do you see that? What, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's some heavy coil. That actually would be an elevator. We'll talk about those Tuesday. Except for your elevators can only last 3 bars. So therefore it would have invalidated the elevator. All right, can we take this along? Nope, you got a stack in the way. You don't have any divergence. You're against DR. There's a lot of reasons not to take it, right? So your filter's going to take care of that for you anyway, because it's... Now, what if this was green? Then you would have went over here, and you would have unchecked long. I would not take an ETX with 6 bars of coil chop, no. I wouldn't take anything with 6 bars of coil chop. Like right here, that's what I'm saying, with this being ETX, it's like, I don't want anything with that much coil chop. There's no, you have no idea where it's going. How do I deal with having 2 charts up, such as NQ and ES at the same time? I have 23 charts up. So, I mean, I have them on different monitors. Let's see here. What was the Fig 30-5 setting mentioned earlier in the what? I'm not sure what you're talking about, Keith. The round dots with an X are for absorption. They belong to a different power play. So don't worry about them right now. I don't see a double TX on here right now. Yeah, you're going to re-ask it, Keith. I'm sorry, I just don't understand. Oh, that was in a different webinar. The double TX webinar, yeah, there's 30 bars back within 5 ticks. That ought to be built into the templates now, though, so you should be fine. You talking about Tuesday's webinar? The double TX has to be within 30 bars, within 5 ticks. The alert takes care of that, though. Somebody's like asking, how do I turn off the ZOI alerts? You just go into institutional order prints, find the ZOI, and turn off the alert. Alright, so it's coming off a wall. Probably has divergence. Coming down into a strong trend. Did y'all say it's a pretty strong trend? Not quite to the wall yet. Right? And have you noticed the markets are really good about coming to those walls? Watching them, like, have you noticed they really are, like, they get right to those walls? So this would be a good little market observation tip for you. It came close. What do you think it might do? There's a good chance it's going to come up to that magnet and maybe push back down to the wall. What do you think? Do you think that's a high possibility? High probability. There you go. Okay, so goes up, down, right to the magnet. Y'all see that? It didn't even make it up to the magnet. But if, I mean, just looking at that going, we're almost to a wall. This is just a basic ODTX after a strong trend. This isn't like a number 4. This isn't a double TX. It's just a basic, probably, I'm guessing there's DR divergence. But we're in a strong trend and it hasn't reached the wall yet. Somebody said, let's see. Yeah, I'm wondering about the wall if they give me a lot of targets. They definitely do. There was one dynamic magnet today that was just chopping over and over and over again. Yeah, it was naked. That's another thing about it. But just, I'm just getting you to look at the wall and go, we're right on a flux and on a dynamic magnet, and we haven't hit the wall yet to bounce off of it. It's probably going to pop up a little bit, hence showing some exhaustion right there, that whole X box, right? Right at the flux and dynamic magnet, not a big surprise. But that wall is going to pull it on down. And it does finally pull it on down. Now we got a star with low volume score pushing right off of a wall. I mean, literally off of the wall. Isn't that what we want? I mean, I want them coming off of a wall. And that's what we were saying. It hadn't come down to the wall yet. Well, it finally came down to the wall. It didn't come to the wall, but it gave us a reversal indicator. And look at what it did. Took off. That's what star low volume scores are for. They're for big reversals. After it's flown down, it hits a level like that, and then it takes off. That's what you're looking for. My first take profit probably would have been, I've been looking at this level right here, this first magnet, at least. And then whenever, if Simplicity had lined up by then, which it probably did, if it did, then I would trail it. If you want to look for a more hard level, the stack right here, and that stack's really where it started oscillating around. Right? Let's see here. Let's keep going. Yeah, they don't always work. 1 to 3 times. Let's get ready for the next one. Still got one way up there. That big 300. Let's see here. What time is it? 9:46. Okay. Y'all want to look at ES some? The slow poke. Oh, there we go. There's another one. I mean, sort of went past it, but starts with volume score coming right off of a wall. Look at that. Not too shabby, huh? All right, so was that a good morning on NQ? All right, we got about 15 minutes left here. Let me grab ES. Rewind back. All right, so we got 9:35. Here we go. All right, we got a short double TX. Do we take it? Heck yeah, we take it. It's coming off of a whole lot of magnets. Great range bound right there. Boom. Money. So not a bad trade at all. All right, we got a short right here. Do we take it? No, that's not in the dark zone. That's 937. Yep. That was a fast one, though. Right there. Yeah, I didn't talk about the first one. I asked about the double TX at 937. Doesn't matter if the first TX is in the dark zone. We weren't taking that trade. We were taking the double TX trade, right? That wasn't in the dark zone. And we just took that short. All right, we got another short. Can we take it? Where would you want to put your take profit on this one? Right before the wall. So as soon as that thing got filled, you want to be moving your take profit if you have time. And look at that. Our take profit was actually before the wall. Yep, one tick before it. But it still is valid. Because where do we think it's going to be pulled down to? Just like before when we said don't take that one trade, it's going to come back to the wall. This one came back to the wall. All right, there's your 3 and done in 30 minutes. Not too shabby, right? And that's all you needed. So yeah, not too slowpoke this morning. All right, did y'all get some stuff out of that? We got more than our 3 and done on NQ. We got our 3 and done on ES. Couple tips on auto trading. Looking ahead. So just always looking ahead, and then that way when the trade comes up, if it's a no, then you just click the off, but leave them on, but always be ready. So the trading's pretty simple on auto trade. Turn it on. Turn it off when you shouldn't take the trade. That's it. And then rearm it if it fires off an order. To go back and load the live detectors, just right click on your chart. Click on indicators. Got to be a paying member to pull up the live detectors. And then scroll down to live up here, like Apex Diagnostic Live. Then just add them on. Right now we have advanced built into the one that has the TX and double TX and ES, so it is advanced. Which the difference between advanced and just regular is it allows for a 2 tick offset and allows 2 bars for it to fill. So you're more likely to get filled, even though, of course, the market moves fast. There's nothing that anything can do about that. The biggest thing I want to tell you is if you're new to using the auto trader, use it in demo to begin with. Get used to it in demo. Do market replay to get used to it. So I have 2 built into the automated trader, Stephen. But go in and, yeah, -2. -2 and 2 bars. All right, but like use it in demo just to get used to hitting the buttons. Do replay to get used to hitting the buttons. Don't just go take your money and not know what you're doing. Take live money and just start hoping it works. Because you'll get real frustrated if you make a mistake and you're in live money, right? Does that make sense? Like take a day or take an evening and replay it and get used to it in real time. Institutional double TX is what we use for the auto trader. Live TX is so you can actually see it happening live and it gives you a pending on the screen. So yeah, so like a lot of the big problem is like just learning how to manage it fast enough, and it's not that hard to manage it fast enough, but you just have to get used to it. Do I still have up oil for my third chart? Yep, I still have oil up. It's rolled over, by the way. So you should have rolled your oil over to the next month. Markers Plus is the software that runs automation on anything. So the auto trader is our programming that goes with that software. That comes with the Elite package. So if you're an Elite member, the Auto Trader programming is what you can use in conjunction with Markers Plus, which is the software. Yeah, it'll do exactly what you tell it to, like it or not. Okay, well, I will see y'all tomorrow morning in the room, and make sure to, I'll get tomorrow I'll have the registration link up for next Tuesday's webinar, and we'll go into elevators, okay? All right, y'all have a good evening. Thank you.